If you're struggling to figure out whether the object of your affection is into you, pay close attention to this video. You're about to become a body language expert, as we're going to share with you 10 secret signs a woman wants you. If this is your first time visiting our channel, click the button down below to subscribe, and keep watching to the end of this video to discover a really surprising clue that she's into you. You'll be gazing intently at her nostrils once you learn this bizarre sign of female attraction. Sleeve raising. It's no wonder it can be difficult to know whether a woman wants you or not. After all, women are capable of giving off around 50 different signals through body language. That's a lot of signs to keep up with, especially when you compare it to the equivalent in men, which is just 10 body language signals. That's why men are generally easier to read than women. So how do you navigate all of these complex signs? By paying close attention to various parts of her posture, facial expressions, and movements. We're going to start with one of the secret signs of attraction in women that most people have never heard of, and it's all about the wrists. Yes, really, if there's a part of the body that nobody ever notices, surely the wrists are way up there. But if you want to know if she's into you, then start looking to this joint between her hands and her arms. Behavioral psychologist and dating coach Joe Hemmings explains that a woman might pull up her sleeves if she's attracted to you. That's because it's a subconscious way to show you the soft, gentle, tender woman that she is. Although it isn't very well known, it's actually very common. Of course, it might just mean she's hot. But still, be sure to keep a lookout for any sleeve action. Genuine smile. Sometimes it's hard to figure out whether your crush is genuinely happy to see you or if she's just faking it. But there is a way you can tell if the object of your affection is honestly pleased to be in your company. You need to pay close attention to her face, specifically the muscles around her eyes and her mouth. These are the two sets of muscles that are involved in a genuine smile. And if she isn't giving you both of these, then she's probably giving you a fake smile. Props to her for trying to make you feel good. But really, most of us would prefer if she just scowled and walked off. At least then we wouldn't be left wondering where we stand. So here's how you can spot the difference between a genuine smile and a fake one. Both smiles involve the muscles that raise the corners of the mouth. We can voluntarily contract these muscles, so slapping on a pretend grin is easy. However, when we're unaffectedly smiling, the muscles that raise our cheeks contract. These same muscles also give us the appearance of crow's feet, creating wrinkles around the eyes. We have a French physician from the 19th century called Guillaume Duchenne to thank for this nugget of wisdom. It was his studies of physiology of facial expressions that discovered the difference between fake and genuine smiles. Mirroring. We've looked at the secret signs a woman likes you on a micro level of her wrist and her mouth, so now you're going to look at the bigger picture. And this involves being aware of your own body language too. First of all, you need to notice what you're doing with your body. Are you leaning back in your chair with your hands behind your head? Have you crossed your legs over at the ankles? Are you clasping your hands together while leaning forward? Once you've subtly taken stock of your posture, observe hers. If she's imitating your pose, then that's a real big sign she's attracted to you, or at the very least that she's engaged in what you're saying. This is because what she's doing is mirroring you, and this is what people subconsciously do when they're interested in the other person. This nonverbal form of connection is called limbic synchrony, and we all would have experienced it even before we were born. In the womb, babies match their heartbeats and body functions to their mothers, so it's hardwired into our brains. When we have a conversation with someone we agree with, we switch our body posture to match theirs. This mirroring of their nonverbal behavior signals that we feel connected. Foot position. While you're checking her posture for mirroring, also keep an eye out for her leg and foot position. This lower part of the body will tell you a lot about how she's really feeling. In fact, retired FBI agent Joe Navarro believes the legs and the feet are the most honest body part. He explains how this works in practice in his body language book, What Every Body Is Saying. When we're with someone we dislike, our feet immediately turn away from them. This isn't a conscious movement, but rather a natural, subconscious reaction to being with someone we don't like. On the flip side, when we're with somebody we do like, our legs and feet turn towards that person. Human behavior and body language expert Lillian Glass also says that people's toes point directly towards the person that they want to get in their life. This is particularly interesting to look out for when you're with your crush in a group of people. She might not even be talking to you at that moment, but chatting away with another friend. However, if she's really into you, her feet will be pointing towards you, not the person she's looking at. Her head position might be saying one thing, but her legs and feet could be revealing her true feelings about you. She won't even know she's doing it. So if you spot this sign, it's a pretty sure indication of her interest. Gaze. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, so you can tell a lot about what she thinks about you by watching her gaze. It seems obvious, but it has been proven in studies that lovers gaze into each other's eyes more than others. Friends have more mutual eye contact with each other than with other people, too. It makes sense that people look more at those that they like and also those that they find attractive. So, if she's connecting with you via her gaze and looking right into your eyes, then that could well be a sign that she's into you. This goes double if she initiates interaction by gazing at you from the other side of the room. If you try to give a connection by gazing at her, notice her response. If she repeatedly returns your gaze and locks eyes with you, then she's probably interested. If she continues to avert her eyes, however, then that's probably a rejection. However, if she isn't looking at you much, that doesn't necessarily mean she's totally uninterested. If you know she's shy or introverted, then that could well be the reason. People with those kinds of personality traits tend to make eye contact less and also have less open eye gaze. Blinking. Keeping with the eyes, there's a lot to be learned from eyelid movements as well as gaze. If you see your crush blinking more often than seems normal, don't just assume she's got something in her eye. She might well be giving off a secret sign that she's into you. Body language expert and founder of the nonverbal group, Blake Eastman, explains there's correlation between blink rate and arousal. When you blink slightly faster or more often, it can be a subconscious response to being with someone you like. This doesn't happen to everybody, but for some people, their blink rate spikes when they're excited. So pay attention to how many times she blinks. If it's more than the average of 10 blinks per minute, then that could mean she's attracted to you. Just think of that flirting cliche of batting your eyelashes at someone you like. It's almost cartoon-like, but now you know there's actually a scientific reason behind overactive eyelid movements. Now, let's take a look beneath the eyelids to the pupils, and what it means if your crush's pupils dilate when she's with you. We'll give you a clue. It's a good sign. Dilated pupils. When you want to know how she really feels, look at her pupils. She couldn't possibly fake her pupils getting larger when she sees you, unless that is, she's using the ancient practice of putting belladonna in her eyes to artificially dilate her pupils. Yes, that really happened, and it damaged those women's vision. But they did it because, even back then, they knew that people are more attracted to those with bigger pupils. Of course, her pupils might be dilating because she's in a dark room and they need to get bigger in order for her to be able to see better in the dim light. Pupils also dilate when we experience rage. You can see this happen in animals when they're preparing to fight. But as long as darkness, rage, and belladonna aren't involved, you can be pretty sure there's a chemical process taking place in her brain. That's because she's seen someone, namely you, who she's attracted to. When we have a strong emotional response to something we see, our brains release dopamine. This excites our eyes' nerve endings and make them dilate. A study found that women's pupils dilate widest during ovulation when they see a loved one or prospective partner. So make sure you pay close attention to her eyes. Blushing. Like pupil dilation, blushing is another sign of attraction that happens at an involuntary level. So check for any changes in her complexion when you're with her. If she turns a pink or reddish shade, it could be a secret signal that she's into you. That's because when we see someone we like, blood rushes to our face. This goes way back to our ancestors, as it is the body's primal attempt to attract a mate. It's the body's way of mimicking how we look when we're at a climactic stage in our interaction with somebody we're close to. Our faces flush in that moment, and this is subconsciously appealing to potential partners on a primal level. Evolutionarily speaking, it's believed that it was a way to bring people together to reproduce. That's actually the reason why blush became a key part of a makeup kit. Women used rouge as a way of imitating this state of arousal and therefore attracting a partner. It's worth bearing in mind, however, that blushing can also be caused by feelings of fear or anxiety. What happens psychologically when we blush is a rush of adrenaline widening the capillaries that bring blood to the surface of the skin. So this might happen when we're in that fight or flight state of adrenaline release. Of course, she might be releasing adrenaline precisely because she's attracted to you and is feeling nervous and awkward about it. Self-soothing. There are certain things a woman might do with her hands when she's interested in you. These come under the umbrella of self-soothing. They include actions like playing with her hair, twirling strands of it around her finger, or brushing her fingers across her cheek. Some people might think these are overt flirting signs, particularly as hair fiddling is a reasonably well-known seduction technique. However, this kind of self-touching can happen subconsciously when we're with someone we're attracted to. This commonly happens with the hair, but it can also involve the neck, shoulder, and thighs. In fact, if she's stroking her leg while talking into you, that can also be a secret sign that she's into you. It happens on a subconscious level, but some people might deliberately employ these flirting techniques. All of these self-soothing actions could also indicate that she's feeling a bit flustered, shy, or unsure. If that's the case, it might well be because she's attracted to you but doesn't feel ready to express it yet. Related to this is accidental touching, which is when someone can signal attraction by brushing against the other person momentarily, like briefly touching their hand or moving a stray hair out of their face. Flared nostrils. We're now on to our final entry, and it's a good one. It's one of those secret signs of attraction that can't be faked, and it's so subtle you've probably never noticed it before. That's because it happens at the edge of the nose. Just like blushing can be a sign of a fight-or-flight state, so too can flaring nostrils. Whereas blushing is caused by the release of adrenaline, nose flaring is down to the need for more oxygen. The technical term for flaring nostrils is nasal wing dilation, and it happens when we start preparing for action by increasing our intake of oxygen. While this might happen for negative reasons, like preparing for an altercation, it can also happen for positive reasons like feelings of attraction. It's an involuntary response to a heightened emotional state like excitement. Although you could try to fake it and flare your nostrils deliberately, chances are it'd be pretty obvious it wasn't happening naturally. Therefore, if you see her nostrils flaring, you can mark that one off your checklist of possible secret signs she wants you. Other involuntary psychological reactions like this include breathing faster and the heart beating faster. Which of these secret signs do you think is most telling? Let us know in the comments, and please give this video a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching!